Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I am Chris Short, Technical Marketing Manager at Red Hat. This is OpenShift TV. You are joining us for a very special developer experience office hours. I will go around the horn and do a quick round of introductions, and I'd like to just quickly discuss what we're talking about today. Serena, please introduce yourself for the team.
Hey there, my name is Serena Nichols. I am a product manager in the developer tool area, and I'm specializing on OpenShift developer experience. And that's what we're here to talk about today.
Sweet. Ryan, what's up, man?
Cool. Yeah. Good to be here during this KubeCon week. For folks who are looking for a reoccurring weekly engagement, we're here every week. We'd love to hear your questions. I'm a developer advocate in the OpenShift team, and we got exciting content for you. So
just to kind of preface the show for everybody, right? Like, this is something that Ryan and I get to do on a regular basis, right? Like, behind the scenes, the internals of Red Hat, we get to work with Serena of the future quite frequently and provide our feedback based off y'all's feedback that we get to her about the interface and how things should work and look and function and everything else. And, her team does a great job of working with us to make things more intuitive and more special. So today we wanted to bring you that kind of experience publicly. So you're actually going to get some feedback.
Yeah.
You're going to give some feedback into product things that are going to be baked into the future here. So we want you to interact with us as much as possible today. We're super happy as Kubernetes, KubeCon, and I got my Kubernetes pronunciation shirt on. You can go grab that at the Cool Stuff store from Red Hat. And I'm just super excited to bring this experience to y'all today, because this is literally one of the most fun things that I do. And it's so fun, in fact, that my daughter is considering pursuing a career in this. So, right, like, I am uniquely interested in what they think the product should look like today. So super excited everyone's here with us.
Also, one other real quick shout out. I heard that we currently have an opening in the product management team working on OpenShift developer tools. If you know someone who might be a good fit for that, definitely tell them to dial us up and get in contact.
Yeah, Ryan J on Twitter, Serena
Marie 125.
There you go, Serena Marie 125 on Twitter, and at Chris Short on Twitter. I almost had you all memorized. It was the numbers that threw me off, Serena.
You almost got it. Yeah. I also wanted to just say too, so this is going to be a new thing for us today, where we haven't had it as interactive. We're going to try to dial it up a notch here today, right? Where we're going to try to use Kahoot to do some polling and see if we can see some answers live. Don't quite know if it will work out well, so bear with us if it doesn't.
Yeah.
And as Chris says, he always kind of talks to me about Serena from the future, but this really isn't talking about necessarily what we're working on for the next release. It's more around, like, what are your pain points? Where do you want us to go in the future? So by, this is definitely a different level of conversation that we've had in the past, where we might have say, oh, here's some things we're working on for 4.6, or even what we're thinking of for 4.7. This is more holistic. Hey, where do you want us to go? And give us that feedback, so we can keep it in our wheelhouse when we start writing out the requirements and brainstorming.
Yeah, this feedback will be vital, right? Like, anyone that gives us any piece of information during this stream is probably going to be giving us some valuable insight. So where did you want to start, Serena? I know you wanted to start on the ad page. Like, what about this page?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple places I want to start. I'll go real high level first, and then maybe we can start some conversations and then go to Kahoot. So today, what you've seen, again, this is, again, from future. This is kind of where we are working in the 4.6, on a 4.6 daily cluster. So not necessarily everything will be in 4.6, but this is where we're at.
Right.
Where you'll see a lot more tiles today, right? So we have a lot of different catalog experiences, but right now what they're doing is they're all going to the same developer catalog, and they're kind of filtering things differently. So you can go to the ad page, and if you're thinking about adding something to your application or your project, you might want to go into a catalog. But what we do today is we're always defaulting to the operator back services. So if you wanted to change that, you can change these things differently. But one of the things that we realized is that if we want to provide filters that are specific to a type, or even additional functionality that's specific to a type, it's very difficult to do that. So I'll give you an example. So for operator back services, we have introduced this group by feature. But if you do that, it's group by operator, which is nice if you're using operators. But you know what? If you're just looking at templates, it does nothing for me, right? So one of the things we're trying to think about is, as we continue to add more catalog experiences, so in the future we might have an event source catalog or a Tecton task catalog so that you can add things into your project or your application. What should that experience be like? Like, should you be able to, when you come in from into the developer catalog, kind of see everything, and as you start drilling in, maybe have a more prescriptive experience? So I'll do another quick thing. In the future, if we said operator backed and I was in my more prescriptive experience, maybe at that point I could also filter by capability level, or say, hey, I only want to see things, or I only want to see things that my company has added as operators into this catalog. And right now we don't have that capability. So I think, we're trying to find out, some of those requirements there, as well as in the future. Right now we don't have the ability to allow a cluster admin to change these categories. And how important is that? So that's the longer story of where we want to go today. But I just tried to put a bunch of ideas in people's minds.
Right. So I would like to remind everybody that we're speaking and there's a slight delay by the time you see it on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook. So if you say yes to something, we're not going to know what you're saying yes to. So please provide a little clarity around, what you're looking for, what you want, that kind of thing. So Rockhound, that's why I asked you to elaborate there. So keep that delay in mind as you're responding to questions from us, and I'll try and deconflict whatever information may fall out if any does. So yeah. So
I think I can add a couple. Can I add a
Rockhound,
couple? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Well, I was just going to say what Rockhound said. Provide labels to templates and filter it by custom search. Filter for it by custom search. Labels are awesome everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be a cool feature.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could do that.
So here's another thing that we have been talking about on the horizon future, is what if we had something like a quick add inside of topology? So today, and again, we're going to have these Kahoot questions going forward to get more info from people. But today, what we do is, you want to add something from here, you got to go back to add, right? And go back into the catalog. So what if we enabled something like, if you knew you wanted to have a Mongo database, what if we enabled some kind of search criteria here that allowed me to type in Mongo, would spit out what the available Mongo options we had were, and kind of make it a little bit more efficient, less context switching. So that's kind of another topic that we have been throwing around and seeing if we think that might be useful.
I was just reminding everybody that you're from the future and that this is 4.6.
Yes, keep saying that, please. Yes.
4.6 daily build, not even out yet, not even GA yet, but
Yeah, this is definitely the latest of OpenShift. We have been at this for quite a while. When I first started looking at this stuff, we were demoing this at the very first KubeCon. Actually, we had a OpenShift based on Kubernetes at that point. But the interface that we offered at the time was much more simplistic. But I love how far along this add screen has come as a layer above Kubernetes, where developers or folks who maybe are not Kubernetes experts can really quickly say, hey, I have a Git repo and I'm not sure how to be productive with it, but man, here's a card that says how to get started from Git. And hopefully I can click on that and follow a path through and start being able to rapidly iterate on my code without having to be a Kubernetes expert or maybe expert on containers or other topics. So yeah, really cool to see how much has been added in here, and also great to see the new features as far as filters and other things to help rein it in as it grows.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and so you just pointed out a couple of really good points. I mean, the ad page is starting to grow. And at one point, is that going to become unmanageable, right? Like, is this where we want to do we want to just continue to add tiles, or do we want to try to figure out a better end-to-end experience for some of those things?
Yeah,
And
the YAML
how
buttons.
do we know that? What's that?
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I was going to say that YAML button's kind of like your basic kubectl create -f, but there's so much more. And sorry to interrupt. Yeah. So how do you do that?
Yeah, well, hopefully sessions like this, right?
Yeah.
So I think as Chris started originally, he was talking about how we do have a lot of these sessions internal to Red Hat. We're also trying to offer these office hours that help with that. We are also really in tune with trying to connect with customers and have offline meetings, right? So we love to join here, but if you also want to get more engaged, also connect with us offline, and we could do sessions with you guys around trying to understand your pain points, how we can having you review or collaborate some of the forward-looking stuff that we're working on. The more feedback, the better, as always.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of activity in chat. So Solus Loss says, if you're in the admin console, and I know this isn't necessarily you, but this is good feedback in general. If you're in the admin console in 4.5 and go to administration CRDs, your CRD, it'd be great if there was an instances tab at the top. Now, right? Like if you could say which CRD is defined, like where it's landing, I guess is what they're looking for there. So Solus Lost let me know it's not a beautiful tile interface, but you can look at CRs, and I guess he's trying to figure out, could we add something there to filter it?
Right.
Oh, it's there. It's there. Okay, never mind. It's not, it would be great. It's there. Okay, cool. Never mind. Sorry. You can look at CRs
okay,
that
and
way.
remember too, what I'm showing is the future.
Yeah.
So
this is very much the future.
There might be something here that people aren't used to seeing too. So just to.
Yeah. So Rockhound points out that like you go from this add menu and then you can add a route, a template, a pod, YAML, whatever. I personally would like to see more integration on deeper menus. When I remind write, I can go to users and add their role binding directly, but the screen is the same as the one in the usual menu. I'd have expected that the user is pre-selected there, for example. Interesting.
So you're talking about on the role. So just not to discount that, and we can share that information with the admin side, but
absolutely, yeah.
We're definitely. I'm aligned with developer developer
like Serena's from the future on the dev console.
Yeah. But we can definitely bring this back to Ali Mobram, who's the console, the admin console PM.
Yeah, we need to get Ali on the show.
Because I think those are great. Yeah, we need to bring him into these and put him on the spot.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right?
Calling out Ali.
So,
what would anyone say the ratio between? No, this is a completely generic question. This might be more you, Ryan. What would you say the ratio between Spring Boot apps and Wildfly apps is on OpenShift at the enterprise?
Oh man, at the enterprise level, I
have no idea, but
I can go ask the enterprise and see what they say.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't have their latest data at this point. I think it's probably depends on what's good for your workflow. I know a lot of folks with Spring Boot like the kind of CF push style functionality. We have a lot of that available with Odo nowadays. You could do ODO push into a Spring Boot application running on OpenShift. You can also use Wildfly as your backend and still get that CF push style functionality to promote war files or ear files or whatever Java artifacts you have. So and then there's Quarkus as well as a
Right.
kind of runtime. So a lot of options. I think you want to figure out what's best from a productivity perspective, and then with your architects and administrative folks around kind of what you're trying to standardize on as a business, and take those factors into consideration. But hopefully OpenShift ought to have all of them solved for you.
It's funny you phrase it like that, because someone asked me this morning, just kind of like off the cuff, like, "Hey, Chris, how would you manage a large open source project, right? If it like starting out, where would you manage like the project itself?" And I was like, "Well, GitHub has project boards, but really it's what works best for you. And that's what's most important here, right? Like, we want you to have the thing that works best for your organization, your business needs."
I mean, it's about you finding productivity in a meaningful way based on your business criteria. And so, if your business for some reason would be better off with Wildfly, great, we got it covered. We've got, hopefully just about all of the options. And you may need to do a little bit extra digging to find the optimal trade-off, or maybe your administrators have already made a couple choices for you. Either way, we're trying to be flexible and help enable that productivity.
Cool. One piece of feedback from Indiana Tux, Serena. Not sure if you saw it yet, but that card view that we have on the ad page is great. They would like to see maybe a list view. And I think that card page is going to grow, so that might actually be a very good idea. Yeah.
More real estate. Yep. Yeah.
That sounds
exactly.
Great. Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Thank you so much. Yeah. That's
definitely.
A great piece of feedback. So yeah, you ready to Kahoot up some stuff? We're gonna do some live polling. We've never done this before on the channel. Let's see how it goes, right? Like, we've done this in some of our internal team meetings and stuff. So we're gonna try and do it on the live stream. Why not?
I have one more question that I can try to handle. We got one from Rockhound in chat.
Yeah, go ahead if you want.
Yeah. So Rockhound was asking, what's the appeal of the Odo command line tool? ODO, while folks are getting set up with this Kahoot app. So ODO helps you decouple your pushes from your commits, so that I can do a push of my code before I make my git commit. Having those decoupled, so I'm not forced to make commits just to preview my changes. That's definitely preferable. So I think it'll probably be around for the foreseeable future. There's a lot of value there in previewing your work before you commit to it. So I don't know if we'll see other platforms adopt the Odo tool, but it works really well with OpenShift, and we hope to see more development on it over time. So if you have features, feedback, definitely let us know.
Yeah.
I don't count as a player, do I? Do I count?
Well, I think it's all right. I think everybody can join, but we would love to see
more people.
10 if possible. It looks like we've got 53 people on. So yeah, join on in. I think that
more than that between YouTube and Facebook. Come on, folks, let's go.
That's true. Okay. That's true. Let's go. Right. And let's hope when I hit start, it's the right thing, right?
Okay, this is our first try with Kahoot. We've used Kahoot internally for a couple meetings. If you haven't used it before, it's not a virus.
No.
Just a website. You enter in a 6-digit key, and then you can help follow along with questions. So yeah, cool. Pile on in. And thank you for participating.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Cannot thank you enough.
So here we go with the first question. It should come up pretty soon. So you guys want to be looking at your app or at Kahoot on your machine. So which of the following?
Use your cell phone.
Yes. So do you most frequently access in the developer catalog? And you can click multiples: builder images, Helm charts, operator back services, or templates. And this is going to be really interesting because of the delay. We have a 90-second thing going on. Yeah. That might not be enough of a delay. So I'm going to